Good evening, everyone. This is the August 14, 2019 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. This meeting is being broadcast live and is also being recorded. It can be viewed at a later date on the town's website, which is auburnguide.com. Before we begin tonight's hearing, I am required to ask if anyone in the audience is making a recording of this meeting. There being no indication of that, the first item on our agenda is a 7 p.m. public hearing. Green Hill Engineering, a notice of intent for a septic system repair at 20 Tinker Hill Road. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed to vote? Ms. Conroy, I understand that there has been a request for a continuance.
Correct.
Okay. Is that to the next meeting, August 28th?
I have continued it to that. They didn't specify, but
Okay. Do we have any other items on the agenda for that evening?
Tonight?
No.
Oh.
On the 28th.
no.
Okay, so can we put that down for 7 p.m. then on the 28th?
We can if someone would like to make a motion.
I move that we do Green Hill Engineering, 20 Tinker Hill Road to 7 p.m. on August 28th.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote.
Okay.
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 We have a few minutes before our next public hearing.
Okay, and Scott Wren is here. He's seeking a certificate of compliance for 6 Hilltop Farm, a partial release, and also for 317 Southbridge Street.
Hello, Counselor.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I am here on behalf of, on 6 Hilltop, Stephen and Nadine Naglowski. Their property recently sold. One of the conditions which came up on title, one of the, I don't want to say encumbrance because an order of conditions doesn't qualify as an encumbrance technically in terms of marketability, but one of the issues that did come up on title was an order of conditions from the notice of intent was filed when public hearing was closed on June 2nd, 1999. This was,
I was there.
I'm sorry, I had the wrong form. It was closed 11/22/99.
I was there still.
This was Ellesmere Investment Company, and really namely the applicant, I believe, was Ravine Development, who built that project up there.
Yes.
Surprisingly enough, there's been no partial releases of record, so no one else has come before you with all the sales that have actually occurred up there. But in truly clarifying the title and putting this matter to bed, we do seek to get a partial release. One of the issues that I do see before us is that one of the requirements that the board required was that there was
An as-built plan.
there be an as-built, correct? Which I do not believe was done.
I don't believe it was done either. So we would have to waive that requirement in order to issue the certificate of compliance.
That's correct.
And I think before we can do that, we would need to go up to the property and just take a look-see.
Yep.
You know, so we have a couple of weeks before our next meeting on August 28th, so I'm sure we can get up there.
Okay.
And so if you don't mind, I would just request that you come back and see us in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, absolutely.
And then we will take a look and we'll see what we can do. Because as you noted, I mean, that was, we're going on 20 years now.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I figured that a sidewalk would be proper, you know, in this case.
okay, very good.
Additionally, in the other case as well. This is a second one, 317 South Street. My client is Ben Chevalier. This was a note, the public hearing was closed June 2nd, 1999. So again, 20 years. This was originally Emerson Homes that did this project. There's been 3 sales on this property since, again, with no release being sought, or no certificate of compliance being sought. In this case, we would be asking for the same thing, for the waiver, but not a partial release. We just, because this was just being one lot, we just asked for a release of, or a certificate of compliance on this order as well.
All right, understood. So we will also take a look to see if we can grant your request.
That is August 3rd.
28.
August 28th.
And right now, we only have, we have one public hearing at 7 o'clock, so I think we'll get you in and out as soon as we can.
Yeah.
So, does the board need me to do anything else in the meantime, or we'll just...
I don't think so.
push the sidewalk and...
No. I think what we'll do is we'll take a look at the property, we'll knock on, or let the homeowners know, and then we'll just take a look-see, and we'll do what we can do.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thanks,
Thank you, Scott.
Bye.
We'll see you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
Sheila, for Whitetail Run, there's
Yes, three, just one release. No?
isn't it a request for an
Yeah,
extension?
Three. Wait a minute. Extension request, yes.
Extension.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, so
Um,
apparently
7, 8, and 9.
they have filed a request to extend the order of conditions for
Yes,
these
I got
properties.
that. Yeah, I sent it through an email request. I'm just right here, present builders.
Okay, can I see it?
Sure. Oh, shoot.
My arms are down.
My arm's up.
Well
See
done.
that?
That was pretty good.
I guess it was.
I didn't do it.
I never thought it would
Yeah.
catch it.
Do we know when we issued the orders of condition for these properties?
Well,
Can we do that?
I'm gonna pass this to Tom.
I'm guessing I think this month or next month is the 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we just maybe
They-
confirm that?
Hmm?
Maybe we can confirm that
Yes.
before the end of the hearing, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We still have a couple minutes, I believe.
As I recall, Mike, we looked at least two of these, I think. Directly met with the owner and just kind of looked around at the other ones, okay?
I've got number 8
Probably
here.
just about as easy.
July 27th, 2016
Yes.
Okay.
is when that we had the hearing.
And when
it
was the
issued 8/10/16.
Okay.
So, it's within the week, but he got the application.
And when was the request?
Is it stamped on
The
that?
letter.
Oh.
When was the letter sent?
July 23rd.
Okay, so within the 3-year period.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, and what period of time is he looking for? Another 3 years?
I think so.
Okay.
Did you see that?
Yep.
I think I suggested yes, 3
All right.
years.
So is there any discussion? Is there a motion then?
I make a motion that we issue a 3-year extension to the order of conditions for 789 Whitetail Run.
Sheila, is it just 7, 8, 9, or is 10 also?
No, 10 is not part of
It's
it.
not part of it, okay?
All right.
For a 3-year period commencing into when that one expires.
I'll
I think it already has expired.
Sure. When did that one expire?
Okay.
On the 18th of 16?
All right.
Okay. Fine, I'll second that.
22. 8, 10,
22,
22.
excellent.
Yep. Can someone want to second that?
Carolyn, second.
I did. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote.
Maybe 19, 8, 9, 10,
All right,
22.
thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Still have 2 minutes.
thank you.
You folks in the back, can we help you with something?
For ADP, the deck?
They're here
Okay,
with me.
Okay.
Okay, all right, very
Okay.
good. We'll be with you in just a
okay.
minute. Thank you.
I'll get that.
Okay. Just to be efficient, I understand that Mr. Quiglia has moved the shed at 82 Berlin Street,
You did. It's actually gone.
and it's gone, so
It's gone, huh?
it is no longer a matter for
No.
our attention,
Okay.
and that can come off of the agenda for the next meeting.
And where are we at? That's 80.
82 Berlin,
82, got it,
Berlin
got it.
Street.
Is that Cariglia or the other one?
That's correctly.
No,
Okay.
that's Cariglia. Shed gone.
All right.
That's for him.
All right. The next item on our agenda is a 7:10 public hearing, Paris Larry ADP Inc., a notice of intent for construction of a deck, landscaping, upgrade to the existing parking lot, and the creation of a stormwater swale at 125 Oxford Street in Auburn. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, it's a vote. Good evening, Mr. Allen.
How are you?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Terrific.
I'm Arthur Allen from Ecotech Incorporated, representing ADP and employees. folks from applicant's owner side are with me in the back row here. I have certificates of mailing.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I don't know if you received a copy of the DP file number today.
Yes, I just
but-
got it today.
Yeah.
I just printed it
I've
out.
been after him for a few days. So
Yeah,
we
thank
got a DP file number today with no comments. So basically, I delineated the resource areas present on the site. They were survey located through Finley Engineering, who prepared the site plan. So resource areas include the perennial Kettle Brook, outlets under Oxford Ave North, and flows in this direction away from Oxford Ave. So that's outlined, the mean annual high water line that establishes a 200-foot riverfront is outlined in blue, and then in green is the bordering vegetated wetland associated with drainage and wetlands adjacent to Kettle Brook. The site is an existing commercial building, lounge, and existing parking lot. It sits on what appears to be fill, an old fill area up high on the bank of Kettle Brook. The existing parking lot is here, consisting of asphalt and asphalt grindings. And this area in between the parking lot and the brook is partially vegetated. It's actually under high tension lines, and they keep that basically clear to the ground. So it's kind of it's basically a disturbed riverfront area. What we're proposing is to improve the existing parking lot. No expansion, actually a slight reduction in impervious surfaces, but primarily striping and organizing the parking lot, designating a snow storage area, fencing in an area for the dumpster. The impervious area reduction comes in two landscape islands that define the entrance. So the pavement will be cut out in those two small areas at the entrance to the site off Oxford Ave, and those will be landscaped and mulched. In pink here is the proposed deck that they want to add to the existing lounge building. It's a 43.5 by 16-foot deck. It's actually going over a completely paved impervious area. It's actually paved right up to the foundation of the building. So we're not increasing any impervious or having any change.
So you'll go through, or the contractor will go through the asphalt and put in footings?
That's my
Yeah.
understanding, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And we're also proposing an overall site improvement by adding the stormwater management swale between the parking lot and the brook on that cleared, upper part of that cleared slope. So it's going to be outside of the 25-foot, but partially, basically within the 50-foot. So between 25 and 50. And that'll take sheet flow from the existing parking lot and treat it prior to discharge. That's been engineered by the PE from Finley. It's been reviewed by Graves, and I included Graves' final comments to the planning board as part of the package. So,
Okay.
so again, that stormwater management BMP's been reviewed and approved. So I believe that's the whole project. Did I leave anything out?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, we'd be glad to answer any questions.
Has anyone had a chance to go to the site?
No.
I walked by all the time. So the snow.
She walks by all the time.
So the snow storage in the back corner,
Corner.
how high is that? So that's gonna be built up as well, or?
No, that's gonna just be on the existing pavement. So, I mean, they designated a small area, but they'll probably use this whole back part of the parking. And it all is pitched, so as it melts, it drains to the stormwater swale.
Okay,
So any sediment in the snow will be caught in the swale and, prevented from direct discharge.
I mean, I think you know us well enough so that we like to take a look, and we haven't had a chance to go out there.
I see.
Would you, but I mean, I think we're all familiar with that site. Would you have any objection to continuing this for 2 weeks to give us a chance to take a look?
Anytime.
Okay, all right, I mean, you don't have to be, I know it's an open business, but, yeah, I mean, we'll be unobtrusive, we'll go during the day, so. Okay, if that's agreeable, then, is there a motion to continue?
Make a motion to continue this public hearing?
Matt?
You want to put it down for like 7:10, Sheila?
Okay, sure. 7:10.
7:10.
Okay, August 28th.
August 28th.
Probably won't, it won't be an organized sidewalk, you'll just go as you can.
Yes.
It's,
Sure.
it's pretty self-explanatory. You
Yeah,
can see everything from the park.
Right, exactly.
I just have one question
Yeah,
for
sure.
you. With the existing condition, where it's described here as gabions, where that riprap rock is, it's like enclosed in wire.
Yep,
I've
yep.
always wondered with that, like, what's the purpose? Is that just more or less just for wash through, kinda? Or
I mean,
stabilization as well as like wash through?
I'm not
Because
sure.
it's
When
been there
was
a long
all that
time.
work along the river?
Where the rock is, the big rocks? Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Was it associated with the dam or the road? or-
It's for the 100-year flood.
All right, yeah.
Did they have some erosion in there or
No,
something?
nothing, they just did it for a 100-year flood, that's what
Yeah.
they told me.
All right, yeah. I mean, it does. It looks like it's a pretty durable structure.
And I think they,
Wow.
my memory is that they've also made repairs to that area too, probably within the last 10 years or so, maybe.
That's what he said, about 10 years.
Yeah, I
At
think,
least.
because I know we took a look at around that
Yeah,
time.
that was just a few years ago.
Did they
some
find an
truck smashed
alligator
into
in there or something too?
They made a fix on
I
that.
think that's why.
Oh, yeah.
That's
It
why.
was before I was on board.
I think they found an alligator in there or something.
Huh.
That sounds like an urban legend.
Heard that.
I think.
All right.
Yeah, those gabions seem to be holding up pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
I was down there flagging and, you know,
Yeah.
those things, I mean, they're made of galvanized wire, so they weather pretty well, and then they're semi-pervious, so the water doesn't just bounce off them, it kind of gets absorbed.
Yeah,
It seems like a good
absolutely.
improvement.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
like it's worked.
They'll keep their parking lot from washing away.
Absolutely.
100-year flood.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, nice to see you, Ed. Yeah, 7:10. 7:10, I'm sorry, 7:10. It might be 7:15, but it should be right around there.
Thank you.
We have Scott Rand too. Have Scott Rand too, Sheila, 7:10, you put Scott Rand down, 7:10 as well. Is that right?
I thought,
No, no,
Yeah.
it's
So
just-
that'll just be a
yeah,
discussion.
he's just
Oh,
gonna
he's just
come in,
not
yeah,
discussing, okay.
but it will probably be right around then.
Okay, thank you.
He'll probably do it all.
Thanks again, have a good night.
You
Thank
too,
you.
thank you very much.
All set.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Okay.
All right. And finally, I think, a discussion about 33 Sword Street. Mr. Goddard?
No, it's actually Mr. Arnold.
I'm sorry, Mr. Arnold.
No, it's okay, it's
I
okay.
apologize.
No, I understand. You've only seen me, so that makes sense, so.
Mr. Reisner?
Bernardi?
Hi, Sheila.
Hang on.
Hello.
How you doing? So, our primary concern is just making sure that the site is in compliance and that we don't have any more silty discharges into the wetlands. And also that we don't have any more sand washing off their property onto our pavement, going through our stormwater system and impacting our stormwater management protocol. So Marty's been good. He went and did all his required operation and maintenance this spring. He had the guys come down, they cleaned out his basin, they cleaned out the riprap swale, they cleaned out the catch basin, did all that this spring. Pavement was all clean, there's no disturbed areas on site, and we have sediment washing off 33 Sword Street out of 31 Sword Street, and they haven't contacted us or anything like that, and there's streaking across there. So there's a few things that have happened, and we're just hoping the commission, first of all, will make sure that Webb at least brings their site into compliance, makes sure their ACV is installed correctly with the silt fence, and then monitors the site as required, because apparently there's been ECB installed incorrectly and they've been inspecting it between storms, and that's my concern.
So, Mr. Fallon and I went out to the site on August 5th. We took some photographs. It appears that erosion control measures are in place. And again, in terms of the timeline, we are, as you know, we are very well aware of the site, and we're also aware of the the contentions between Webb and Mr. Reisner. We know that this is subject to a pending lawsuit. And so I looked at what was going on there. There was no storm event. And so because it was a dry day, it was a sunny day, and so we didn't see anything. Just a couple of thoughts come to mind.
Yep.
For one thing, this is an ongoing construction site, and so clearly, while construction is ongoing, it just strikes me that the type of monitoring that you want us to do would require almost a daily presence there, and I'm not done.
Yeah.
And to require us to go down there whenever there was a storm event, all right,
Yeah.
which I think is
Yeah.
excessive.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing is that I don't even know what the status is of the construction at the site. I don't know if Webb is enjoined from doing any further construction because of the ongoing litigation, what the status is. And so perhaps you can enlighten us on what's happening there.
So any of the litigation has nothing to do with activities related to the orders of conditions. So therefore, Webb is proceeding with that. I believe the only litigation is in regarding to the building use itself in respect to the building use for its proposed activities and the loading docks access. So basically, from a layout standpoint, there's nothing really in dispute. It's more the use that's in dispute. So that's that issue there. And I don't believe we've asked the commission at all to monitor the site. We just want to make sure that that Webb's notified. I did send a CD. I'm assuming, Sheila,
Yeah,
you got
okay.
that, and it had a video that showed an active discharge during a storm.
Did you send a copy of that to Webb?
I did not, because I don't have direct contact with them, and I didn't feel it was my responsibility when they should have inspectors there after or prior to a storm as outlined in their operation and maintenance plan. Their operation and maintenance plan states that they have to inspect the site within 12 to 24 hours of a forecasted storm of a certain magnitude.
Do you also believe that operation and maintenance plan is effective while construction is ongoing, or is it after construction is complete?
The operation and maintenance plan explicitly talks about during construction activities and monitoring and after construction activities and monitoring. After construction, they don't monitor it during storms. It's during construction that they monitor after storms to make sure that there's been no releases, impacts, erosion, and any maintenance that needs to be required so that when the next storm occurs, they're actually prepared. And that's typical in typical stormwater. We're not under SWIP per se, but typical SWIP, you're required to inspect it at least once or every other week, and you're supposed to make repairs within 7 days so that the repairs are made prior to the next storm so you don't have it occur again.
So I think I have a possible compromise here. My suggestion would be for the board, the commission, to send them a letter reminding them of their obligations to comply with the operation and maintenance plan, given the close scrutiny that is taking place of this project, and to advise them that if they don't fully comply with that plan, then they will be subject to an enforcement order.
I think that is appropriate. I think they should be given a timeline at least, because we documented the ECB in
But the
July.
timeline set forth in the plan, right?
Yeah, so the first repair, but again, their first repair problem was documented on July 18th. We're now in August 14th.
Right.
So and I was there literally less than an hour ago, and that silt fence is still not entrenched. And anybody who knows erosion like I do, I inspect sites. I was on 2 large sites that are 40 plus acres under construction right now, and you don't have a low point discharge, and you don't entrench with silt fence. It's not entrenched. That's just it shows very poor protocol. And so I think if the commission has a timeline frame, I think it would be important just to make sure that WEF knows that they need to act. And that's our main concern is we don't see that there's been a lack of action in the silt fence issue area. And then I'm not sure if you did you see the silt streaks across the pavement that were coming off 33 Sword Street onto 31 Sword Street?
I think I saw something.
Yeah.
So you can see that, and we actually have a gravel sack in our catch basin, and it's got gravel in it that's accumulated since we cleaned it this spring.
Okay.
And that gravel didn't come from us, it actually came from their property. And my concern is if I see gravel in a gravel silt sack, it's not capturing all the silts it finds. What other material was going into our system, going into our riprap swell, and now we're discussing with the contractor, we probably need to do maintenance on the swell because we have sediment in it, and we just cleaned it this spring. And we're upset about the fact that maintenance is being required on our part because of action of the neighbor. And I mean, honestly, if they kept their pavement clean, which they should have easily done because they've had storms where they kept their pavement clean. I have video and I saw that.
Well, I mean,
And then the next storm,
You s-
they didn't clean up like they should have.
so you can use the commission to advance your concerns, Yeah, but you have a right of direct action as well. There's nothing preventing you from writing a letter to them directly saying, hey, you know what the story is, order of conditions, operation and maintenance plan was
Yep.
was part of that order of conditions. You're not complying. As I said to you, I think, and we'll discuss it among ourselves, I can see definitely sending a letter telling them that they've got to comply fully with with the requirements of the operation and maintenance plan. And in terms of a timeline, 2 weeks?
We're in August.
I'm
I
trying
understand
to actually figure out, looking at that, so if there was, so you're most concerned right now about the silt getting into your system?
That honestly, that's the biggest.
That's what you're concerned
It
about
affects
right
us
now.
cost-wise. And then the other thing is that I don't like it. I don't like seeing erosion controls not installed that are discharging silty water into the wetland. At least you could have it entrenched. If there's a little bit of film entering a wetland after it's filtered through silt fence, that's understandable. But when it's going underneath it, when you take a photo and you can see the light underneath the silt fence, it's not adequately installed. And I understand it happens because I inspect it all the time, and I have to make sure that guys who install it correctly actually fix it to make sure it's installed correctly, because they say it's installed and it's not.
I have a question for, I'm in construction.
Yep.
How much tonnage of dense grade gravel would you say was on site? We'll just look at that like a ballpark.
I mean, the tonnage on the gravel, I mean, they basically stripped the pavement and left the base of the subgrade down. And then the gravel that moved, I mean, it was probably a volume of half a cubic foot of gravel in the silt sack in the catchment. That's what we had it there.
Okay.
You saw other stone. I saw other gravel streaking from their property line down to the catch basin itself.
But I meant like how much, like would you say, oh, they probably had 150 ton of dense grade gravel on the site to do the work they're doing, and which is a lot.
Yeah.
Because that stuff, when it washes, I mean, I know it's probably super fine.
Yep.
Suspended solids when it washes.
Yeah, they're not really bringing in material at all. If they're using,
They just haven't finished the
they haven't
grading out
finished-
there
yeah,
yet.
they've been installing the structures, and then and leaving the site sloping towards the ECB. And that was the thing. In the last storm, I saw a scour mark around their outlet structure when anybody who was looking at the site should have said, let's leave a depression in the middle of where we're working to let the water hold and percolate and then slowly let it leach toward that versus just slope it all towards the ECP.
Right.
And that was, and seeing that scour, I mean, I saw a bunch of sand built up inside their limit of work, right on top of the riprap that has silt fence that's out entrenched. So all the silt that was mixed in with the sand is now in the wetlands. So that's.
So do you think even if those were installed correctly, do you feel that it would have been adequate for the site conditions as far as
I
with
think
the
so,
rain?
yes,
It
yes.
would
I
have
think
captured enough
if-
to not
yes.
make a
Yes,
significant...
their controls, if adequately installed, I believe, are totally adequate
Okay,
for the
that's-
site.
that was my
Yeah.
question.
I don't
Okay.
think they need any additional controls. I think they just need to maintain their controls
And
they
have them
have.
installed correctly? Okay.
Yep,
Do you think they were not installed correctly in the first place?
correct. And I think the photos show that clearly. If you need, I mean, I have one more additional color copy.
They need to be entrenched.
Entrenched.
Oh, that's the word. All right.
Which letter was that you sent, Marcus?
So I believe,
I've got some
So
pictures
that
here.
I saw when I went there tonight, that area, do you think like getting anything near that area that?
so this photo here, for example, shows that's the sand buildup right there. You
That's
can-
on the
that-
other side.
That's a sand buildup, so that was, I knew that if sand builds up to there,
Right.
the silt is long gone.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's what
that's,
stayed.
that's what stays, exactly, so this is a photo here showing, that shows the light underneath the silt fence right there, that's occurring, and then you can see that's why it's happening. So this was this, and then I have a very poor,
Where that guardrail is
Yeah.
right there. and
I have a
it's kind of
very, yeah,
sticking right next to it.
they basically just tried to join this together very roughly, and,
Right, right.
and that just,
What are the dates of those images?
so this is from July 31st.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, the silt, the sand that washed around the structure, that was August 8th.
All right.
So, I did make sure, and then,
And I just went the other day.
yeah, and then this was, the July 24th one, this is when the silt fence just, it just tipped over. And it tipped over after a second storm. So that image there was very similar to my first image, which was taken on July 18th. So you can see, if you compare the two,
Yeah.
there's been no change
Right.
in those 6
No one
days.
went out there and did anything.
No one out there and did
So
anything.
we need to make them completely aware that they have to be out there almost every 12 hours after a storm event.
Yeah.
Or within 5 hours.
Because I think in the
So
sense
it's a
of,
good thing we didn't need to do that.
their O&M, instruction and maintenance during
That would
construction,
have been a big problem.
it says a significant storm event shall be defined as all or one of the following thresholds. Any storm event not meeting the three houses it says any storm which is predicted to last 12 hours consecutive or more of rain, any storm for which a flash flood watch or warning is issued. That was, one of the storms that we had,
We did have one.
we did have one.
We did have one. I got
It
one on
was,
my
yeah.
phone. Yep.
And I believe I mentioned that. I'm sorry that I don't have all these reports memorized because
It's all right.
No, we
I
don't.
put them.
Again, we're very aware of the situation.
And that's honestly, it's a question of as long as they
To what you guys have already told us.
yeah, they need a, if they comply, this is the July 18th one that had the, I think this one was the one that had the flash flood, yep. Yeah, the July 18th one
I'm
was that.
curious, and forgive me if I'm when you send these reports to us, do you send copies to them too?
No, because I didn't think, honestly, when I asked them to be extra careful about installing the silt fence, they basically said, that's not necessary. And that was in writing during the public
All right.
hearings. And when I receive any type of if they said, you know what, we agree that's a concern, we'll make sure we take extra care of it, but we don't feel like conditions necessary. They just said, we're not even going to consider this as a concern, and it's obvious that even though they were notified about our concerns about this, they got an order, they didn't actually do it.
So do you know if they're aware of the
I
actions
believe
you've taken?
they do know.
Reports you've sent?
The contractor I know is aware of some of the photos I've taken because the contractor was there one time when I was there.
Then my request would be when we send them the letter,
Yep.
to include your reports and all of your information, because that way it's documented. It also indicates that that this is something that they need to take seriously.
Yep.
And my suggestion would be that we do send a letter, we include all of your reports, your images, and tell them that they have to be in full compliance with the operation and maintenance plan by the time of our next meeting, which is on August 28th.
Yep.
And my suggestion would be that if you believe that they're not in compliance, in full compliance by August 28th,
Yep.
you come back and see us, and at that point, we'll entertain issuing an enforcement order.
Yep. Okay.
All right?
I think that's the best thing for us. We can definitely, we don't want to spend money on maintenance if we don't have to.
I understand.
We'll probably reach out to them about that and say that there's been damage to the property and it's costing us and that it's payable to them. And if they're on site, they can do the maintenance a lot easier than we can by doing it themselves because they're actually doing riprap and other things on site. But we hope that, again, honestly, these repairs are very simple. They're very basic. It's not much.
Well, I think
And that's
It's not
our
necessarily simple. That having somebody go out to a site every 12 hours after a storm event,
honest.
especially during the spring,
Yeah,
when
but-
it rained every day.
I know, but
It rained every
the
day.
contractor's there almost every day, and the contractor can have someone who's at least experienced on it, and oftentimes, so there's at least someone that has a little bit of knowledge.
all we can do
So-
is we will, again, include your reports.
Yep.
We'll tell them they have to
Yeah.
be in full compliance, and
Yeah.
if they're not,
Yeah.
we will entertain issuing an enforcement order.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what we can do.
Okay.
All right?
Well, we appreciate you guys at least reaching out to them, and we're gonna talk to them about the sand coming off onto our property, because we need that cleaned up. And we don't want, again, we're trying to maintain our own operation and maintenance to keep our discharges clean.
Understood.
That's what we want, that's what we're trying to do here, and we don't want any more issues, so.
So I got a few comments, questions, okay? So I did the right thing, okay? I hired Goddard Consulting, okay, to advise me through this process because I don't know how to go through it alone.
Right.
Okay, so I engaged them, okay, to document these obvious violations. They put together not one, not two, not three, but this is going to be now the fourth report documenting these series of violations that the COMCOM did not react to.
Sir, we have one meeting in July.
Go ahead.
Excuse me.
But when someone reports a violation,
And this is an ongoing construction site too.
that's the concern.
And we are mindful of, Mr. Reisner, I'm really being respectful to you, all right?
I am too. You're not letting me say my point.
I think
You're stopping me.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay? So we prepare these reports. We submit them to the COMCOM. Okay? There's a violation going on. Why is AIDC doing this? Why am I doing this? Okay? I'm doing it simply to protect 31 Sword Street. Okay? That's what's going on with the litigation between Webb and AIDC is independent of this. Okay?
All right.
Okay? I want you to understand that. Okay? So it's not like I can pick up the phone and talk to Webb and explain to these problems, these situations, okay? Because it's just the lawyers going back and forth, okay? So I thought I was doing the appropriate course of action by submitting this to the COMCOM because I would hope that they would say that this is okay, the silt is coming through here, and you know this is an ongoing construction process. But now it's 3 weeks later, so now there's additional silt, additional damage that could have been prevented if we had just met down there.
Well,
I don't
Mr.
understand why the COMCOM
Wright-
didn't forward this to the...
Mr. Reisner, we met once in the month of July, number one. Secondly, sir, you have a private right. If you think that you have been damaged by any activity by Webb, then you have a right of action against them. And in fact, I think, sir, you could probably incorporate it in the current litigation that's involved. We're a volunteer board. July, I was away on vacation. I'm sure other members of the board are on vacation too. All right? And we appreciate the efforts, and you've documented this situation extremely well. And so what I'm proposing, sir, I think that what I've suggested, and we'll talk about it amongst ourselves, is a reasonable alternative. If they do not comply, and if they do not bring these erosion control measures into full compliance with the plan, then the remedy is going to be an enforcement order. We have the ability to fine them too, sir. And so all I can say to you is that we will issue a letter that I think we can make as strong as possible, telling them to comply with what they said they have done.
Well, all I know is now I have to go back, okay, and clean out this trench that I just spent thousands of dollars, you know, to do properly. And we send a letter saying that the gravel from their site goes over to our site, and now I'm just down here, we gotta clean it up on our nickel. And if the COMCOM had intervened sooner, okay, this could have been prevented, and that's why I'm upset, okay? And that's it, I got it off my chest, okay?
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
I just, Mr. Reiser, I know that with everything that's been going on, and when they came in front of us and had the operations and everything, and we had all that rain, like Michelle said, I know you guys weren't satisfied with what was going on, and you guys went to the DEP, which is your right, and they, you know, sometimes it's good for that to happen because they will take whatever action they see fit, and they're, you know, an executive board of the state. So like when everything kind of got back here, my thoughts personally was, okay, I don't know what's going on here, but there's quite a bit of rain going on, and I honestly thought to myself that any kind of erosion control measures with all that rain we got are gonna continuously fail, so I would assume that, I hope they have somebody out there a lot fixing it, because we haven't had that much rain, I don't know how long. I mean, it's been a long time, unusual year. But just like, I just got the email from Sheila last week that the appeal was let go. One of the letters was let go, so like, I'm confused as to like, okay, I don't know that they resolved what they wanted to.
Right.
I know they appealed it and they decided to withdraw the appeal, so I was just confused with it.
So the withdrawal, we never withdrew it, the web withdrew the Second Amendment. So the way it worked was, they said that the first order of conditions in the Second Amendment encompassed everything that the First Amendment would have encompassed, and so they withdrew the First Amendment, making the other two viable. That's what they did, and I mean, we were disappointed that we weren't able to get more besides just the operation maintenance plan done, because again, it's clear from here that our original concerns could have prevented this.
Right.
But you're satisfied because you had ample input into that plan, or to review that plan?
The O&M, I have to say, was fairly well done, but again, I think the special conditions that I was looking for would have ensured additional protection to possibly prevent what we've documented occurring.
So,
And that's, and honestly, because of the appeal and that process, unfortunately, we lost that right because of the way Webb maneuvered that situation. And so,
if
and that's either here or there.
if Webb complies with the operation and maintenance plan, the way it's been drafted,
Yep.
to the letter, will you be satisfied?
I think, yes, because they will, because that O&M is now actually very thorough.
Right.
And I was very happy, they did a very good job with that after we had them revise it.
When you walk that site, the manhole covers are off and you can see the structure inside those storm
The storm
centers or whatever.
centers, yep.
And I was really impressed with it. I've never seen one like that, but it looked like they were still a ways away from getting the final coat
Yes.
of everything on.
And that's, again, so I think it's a little bit of heart-to-heart maintenance on this site, and they're good.
Yeah.
And they're golden, but we understand the commission being on vacation, stuff like that, so, I think if anything, I knew that, talking with DEP, that you had actually responded on August 2nd saying you responded to that, and that I only found out about that last week, and that was, I was like, all right, at least he acknowledged it. Because that was the thing, Sheila said she put it on the agenda, but I didn't hear anything else about the commission's gonna go take a look at it, we'll make sure we address this. I just heard it going on the agenda, and that was just concerning for me. So now that I knew that you had that conversation with Denise, I was like, oh, I told Marty, Mr. Garden said he was gonna go out and look at it. They'll be dealing with it tomorrow night, and that was good to hear. And so honestly, I hope that we don't have to do this any more of this. And honestly, a response saying, we'll take a look at it is great. But honestly, I think if Webb can up their game a little bit here on their maintenance, I think they're in good shape. And you may want to recommend to them to document things just for their own sake. If they document their work, and then they can't be caught with insufficient.
We don't give
controls.
advisory opinions.
I know you don't, but at the same time, the commission does reserve the right. The commission does reserve right to add special conditions to the order after it's been issued, if they feel that it's necessary for a site to stay in compliance. In this situation, I don't think it's necessary, as long as Webb feels that we need to do something before we have more problems to deal with.
Understood.
So, and we appreciate that commission, and I hope that that'll be worded strongly enough that it'll make Webb do something, and then we can.
Oh, I believe it will be.
Good, excellent.
All right.
We appreciate
Thank you,
it.
gentlemen.
Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
So, what I would propose to do is to send all of the reports
Yeah,
with the photographs.
yeah.
You're working tomorrow, right, Sheila?
Yes, I am.
So what I'll do is I will draft a letter,
Right,
and I will email it to you,
okay.
and just
Make sure it says entrenched, man.
entrenched silt fence. And what I'm going to say, and again, I am mindful of their concerns, and just again for you, I'm going to say, hear reports from Goddard Consulting, they outlay or indicate that you are not in compliance with the operation and maintenance plan. You're required to do that even during the course of construction. You will take steps to entrench the silt fence. We want to make sure that no siltation is getting into the wetland, and we expect you to do it no later than August 28th. And if you do not do it by August 28th, the board will entertain issuing an enforcement order against you for failing to do so.
I would like to add something to that as well.
Sure.
I would like the person who does that work for the erosion control measures to
Send us
contact
something.
and send a letter stating that it's done, and
Okay.
somebody who's competent,
Gonna
who
return
does that.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Return
Somebody
input,
should
yep.
probably highlight somewhere in there that it's in their O&M or operations manual, that somebody has to be there within 12 hours,
On the
12 to
storm.
24 hours in a storm
Under
event.
construction,
You know,
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
that's not
Is that
the
what
way it's
time it
written
is?
either.
It's not?
It isn't?
Got it.
I don't know where it is, so I don't have that
Is
page.
he looking
No,
at it?
show
Okay,
him.
I'm not either.
Conducted once every 14.
Inspect every 14 days and following a significant storm event. It
so
doesn't,
there's no time
there's no
period.
time.
Right,
No.
right.
That's fine.
Yep.
We're not gonna,
So
look,
that's, yeah.
I believe these people can read English. They had a consulting engineer that prepared
But that's what
the
he's
operation and
asking
maintenance plan. Yeah, but we
And
don't,
I'm with you on that.
we're
I
not
agree.
gonna issue, we've issued an order of conditions on this.
More than competent, I think.
I think it's it's a very comprehensive plan.
Yep.
But
So,
did you read that letter? I think that they
Yeah.
sent to the DPW?
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
chastises
Yeah.
us.
Oh, yeah,
It's us,
we're not
yes.
doing, and it's like,
it's because we only met once in July.
but
Yes,
it's
that
not
was-
even
yeah,
that,
I
it's just
should
this
remember,
whole,
that's
this
right,
whole
I
issue
said
of
Wednesday.
this thing. It seemed like, okay, what was that movie with, what's his name? Okay, cue the DF.
Right.
In any event,
Right.
But it also
It's raining.
seems
Of course
like
it's gonna
the
be
bigger
water.
concern
Alright,
is
so-
the parking lot and the silt going across between the two parking lots, which has not have anything to do with us.
There
I
wasn't still
understand that.
going through the...
Right?
so is there,
There is a 12 consecutive hours law. Any storm in which rain is predicted
12
will last for 12 consecutive hours or more.
Right, that makes it so you have to go the next day. If there's a storm is that
Okay,
long, or
yeah.
there's a flood
Storm
warning,
is that
or
Yeah, storm first, watch or warning
Yes.
issued.
12
rainfall greater than an
consecutive
inch, or 3 days in a row. Those are the four
Yeah.
reasons to trigger the next day
so
inspection.
can I have a motion, please, to let me do what I wanna do?
hours. I move that Mike send a letter to FW Web at 33 Sword Street.
Outlining what we previously discussed.
Outlining what we previously
Is
discussed.
there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Do
It's a
your
vote.
thing. Absolutely.
Okay, who seconded that?
Wow.
Michelle, was it, who seconded that?
Karen's name,
Calendar.
No,
I was doing
Mike-
that.
Yeah, that's okay. Tom did. Yeah.
All right,
No.
so
Go
Um,
to it.
We're not fast
I
enough
mean,
to
there's,
second
we
it.
can't, there's obviously no guarantee that they're gonna comply, but if they don't comply, then at that point, I think we have to consider an enforcement order.
I know.
Which would stop them from doing anything, is
I
that
did
correct?
get this.
I did, what, we
It was
watched it, you sent it
overnight.
to us.
I didn't get
Did
to
I?
watch
'Cause
it,
I
but
can't even
I
see it.
think I got it, did you send it to us?
Is that the video?
No,
I think he sent it to us, I know, I played a video.
All right, and it was just
I
a
didn't
video of the
see the
rain
video.
and whatever?
Yeah,
Okay, I don't even have
I
a
don't
thing to
know.
play this in my office anymore.
I had a
Okay.
video, so
But,
I don't know.
I mean, I could,
Does anyone have the strength to do the minutes from June 26th?
I started looking at them,
We looked at them. Where?
everything looked good except for like there was one on the 26th at the bottom of the,
Except, yeah, I was absent. I was absent.
yes, I had to correct it because Carolyn
No
wasn't
problem.
here. That was it on the 26th,
Yeah,
right, Carolyn?
Yeah, that's all
Thank
that,
you, that's one of
yes.
them.
That's all
actually
that.
on page 2, under, okay, so on page 2 of that one,
Page 2.
it says the project will go out to bid in September.
Where are we? Where do you want?
What part?
Page 2, what?
Page 2, where it
Okay.
says the project will go out to bid in
No.
September,
Second paragraph.
and we'll plan on fall construction. I don't know why.
Who plans on fall construction?
That's,
The town?
Yeah, that was for that pin
Yeah.
rod, wasn't it?
Well, I
Yeah.
think you need to put in a subject. Who's gonna plan on,
Question determination.
who's
Oh,
planning
sewer
on,
department. Yeah, yeah.
who's planning on fall
the sewer
construction?
They're
extension.
putting it out and they're
Yeah.
hoping to,
Who's
Yeah.
planning on fall construction?
Pre-construction meeting, the partial go out to bid. Oh, it must be this Mr. the laterals, whatever his name is. That was
That's-
through that company.
That, she's the consultant. She's not
Oh, she is?
she's not the contractor.
Yeah, okay.
So it would actually be the Upper Blackstone Treatment Facility, right?
Okay,
Right?
okay.
Well, where it references her, it was her that offered to
Should
have
be
us go
her.
pre-construction.
Right.
I don't know why I highlighted that, but.
Well, I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense. So I think it's Upper Blackstone that's planning on the construction.
All right, so
Just add
Upper Blackstone Valley project will go out to bid for
the Upper Blackstone Treatment
Around.
Facility. Or put in, and the treatment facility will plan on fall construction. How's that?
all right.
And then at the bottom of the page, it says Michael Garland.
Probably
Yeah.
stated he visited the site.
And the erosion control
Is
is in
like-
place, and the
yeah.
developer has no issue with the conservation committee?
Just that
That makes no sense.
Conservation.
No, because
Made the erosion controls in place.
And there are,
we had no issues with the comment. I think is the way.
we did go up
Visit
there,
to say the erosion controls in place.
and there,
The
How about-
developer has no
how about-
issues with
how about-
conservation with developer.
how about, stated, and it wasn't just me, it was also, you were there, Nate,
I
Michelle was there.
Yeah.
How about for Blaker Street, members of the Conservation Commission visited the site and found that the erosion control measures were in place, period.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good.
And I have no other changes for June 26th.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of June 26th as amended.
Is there, okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
This is the 20.
It's a vote. And then finally, July 20th.
Okay, do we got those?
It's on the back of the other
Right
one.
up?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. She's so good.
You're just trying to get me out.
But we don't have enough,
Oh, wait, actually,
we
hold
don't have
on.
enough people that were there.
Oh, yeah, right.
So you're right, because,
Postpone these minutes.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Three of us and Tony.
Because only three, that's right. Tony,
That's
where's
all
the
right,
money?
so we'll defer those until the next meeting.
Deferred.
Okay,
Deferred.
is there any other business?
Yes, we have to sign these.
Oh, the extensions, right?
Yeah, the extensions.
There should be
Okay.
three separate ones, right?
7, 8, 9,
Yeah, each one is.
and
Bug.
okay, then we have, I had put 33 Old Cart. I had put the wrong DEP file number on that last order,
Okay.
and the attorney wanted
You're correct?
it corrected. I was just gonna change it initially, but he wanted it all re-signed with the correct number.
Everyone,
So,
These
yeah,
must
so
be
all
attorneys.
three of those
where,
are
where
re-signed.
are we signing?
I said that, Vicky.
So turns us over titches, aren't they?
These attorneys, I'll tell you.
Is that the right word? I don't know.
Litigious is the word. Yeah, not all of
That's as
them,
good as any.
Not all.
I hope I got the right sheets.
most of them.
There's one sheet here. It's crazy. Oh, there's one, we'll do that one. See what I
I'm working
have.
on getting a-
Happening.
That's my next project,
What's that?
I'm getting bored.
Is your
I was
house
gonna say,
done?
I'm surprised you were here. I'm surprised you're here, I'm glad she must be somewhere.
Well, we just had it last weekend, sorry.
All right, I'm gonna have to go make some more copies.
No, it was actually Eric's company's party.
Yep.
Okay, right back.
Yep.
Pretty good.
We applied for a permit, they told us we didn't need one for the tent, so
Good.
that was good news.
Uh-huh.
But we are gonna have a party. The,
Just one?
yeah, whatever, probably.
This was
We'll see what happens. But, no, I'm gonna start trying to get that, Lake Association together. so.
Oh, good,
That's
great
great.
idea.
It really is.
Are you gonna
That's
incorporate?
Phenomenal.
as a
Yeah.
nonprofit?
We're gonna try. We'll
Good.
see what happens.
Good, smart.
See what happens. Then we're gonna,
Shift two more?
She does.
Yeah, she does.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm hoping this whole thing with 31 and 33 will be nice just to get
Oh, I know.
that resolved and move on. And it's just, every time we're in here for that, and I'm thinking of all the rain
We're on the
in the
record.
spring, it was, yeah, you know.
when
I
are
know, I
they,
thought about
I
that.
think once they actually tar it, I
they
think
were
that
gonna
it's
open
gonna
by
be
the end of
okay.
this
You
So
have to
when are
remind
they?
everyone we're on the record.
Oh, yeah.
And then I read that thing that you said, Michelle.
Yeah. Yeah, so,
The other thing well, actually, I need for her to come back. I did want to bring you up to speed on 498 Rochdale Street, Mr. Goodman.
yeah, how's that going?
I'll tell you when she comes back, because she has to record it.
Okay. Sorry, guys, no Stanley Cup, no
No,
championship for the Red Sox this year.
no, Red Sox are done.
No.
They're done.
I don't watch baseball. There's too many games. It
I know it
bores
is.
me. It
It's fun when
really,
you go. I like going to
Well,
the
the
game once. I
attendance
haven't
is
been in a
way
few
down.
years, but
Attendance
it's
is
nice.
way down. You look at the stadiums, attendance is way down all
boring.
any league.
If somebody like jumped up in the middle of the field and like ran around and you had to like run after the ball, I think it would make it more interesting, but it's just so boring to sit there and watch that the whole time.
I have a son who's a baseball player and he was scouted by several teams.
Really?
So I'm into it, yeah. He put it down to Holy Cross, he was scouted by Cardinals, he was scouted by, I forget somebody else. He didn't want, it's a heck of a life, number one. And he probably wasn't good enough. It was terrible because he's a pitcher, so
Yeah.
it was disheartening. But it's a tough life, you know, travel. It's
Yep.
tough to have it, so.
Yeah, I hate
We've
it.
had a lot of
Traveling.
history and a lot of adventures in the.
No, you don't. You lie.
You love
Mr.
traveling.
Garland, are you aware that
We did
the
Disney.
lofts
My
downtown,
granddaughter
I mean, not the lofts, the
came back, they were gone
Front Street,
July
99% occupied now. Imagine that,
Yeah.
6 stories, that's impressive. That really
Yeah,
is.
Worcester is.
I never thought they'd fill them.
Yeah,
a long way.
and
So much fun.
It's supposed to be a real nice
So
place
Everything
inside,
is
but
freshwater, they don't.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with downtown.
Yeah. Hello.
You want to go for what, 10 days?
We're only going for 3 nights, 4
Okay,
nights.
yeah, that's enough. Well, yeah.
The anniversary.
I've been there only 7 times.
Sheila, the signature page is over there for the.
Oh, okay, great.
7 times is good.
I looked in here to see if I had it, and I saw that, and I thought it was all set, but
We made the best pickles too. I should bring in my pickles.
you make homemade pickles?
Oh, I made homemade
I
pickles.
got cute,
Make sure you bring the pens too.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
some pickles.
the pickling cucumbers in my garden box, and they come out awesome, and I've been cutting them up. The skins are real thick and they turn
Oh,
yellow.
they're-
They are so good.
Yes, I had
And I don't know how to make pickles. I love half sours. That's like my
Yes, I do
thing.
too.
I'll give
You
you the
make half
recipe.
sours?
Yep, and my
Oh,
friend has
please.
dill, so I've been making it with her fresh
Yeah.
dill on my
Right
pickles.
on.
Yeah, 'cause Regal Pickle in Worcester, remember them? They closed down years ago. They used to have the buckets of. Oh, I used to love those.
So I make refrigerated pickles.
I haven't made it for a while.
How long you gotta let them seep for in a jar? Like you said, a certain.
Actually, mine, you only have to do 48 hours.
Really?
Yeah, because you,
Do we need to decide something for Old Car Road too?
it's coming.
That's
Okay.
this right here.
Very good.
you cut them up, you stuff the dill in, and then you do the brine, and then you just let it cool to room temperature, and then pour it over, and then you put them in the refrigerator for like 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
It's fine. Okay, so I'll just keep this all in this file here.
And they're nice and crunchy.
And then finally, 498 Rochdale Street, Mr. Goodman.
Yes.
So Mr. Goodman had, I guess there was an enforcement hearing that was conducted by DEP a few weeks ago. And Mr. Goodman made unsubstantiated allegations that we had authorized him or said that whatever work he was saying he was going to do, it was okay with us. And so Denise Child asked me about that. I reviewed the meeting minutes going back to 2014. I spoke to Dan Reich up in Vermont and asked him if what his memory was. He remembered going to the site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in fact, no, we did not do that. I
No.
advised Ms. Child that we didn't do that. And so we'll see what they do with Mr. Goodman. All right? And if they decide to, if they remand the case to us for whatever reason, as you know, we have the right to issue fines and we should consider doing that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where that stands.
Yeah,
So,
because I still feel bad for that room, because he hasn't done anything, and I actually had just joined the board when that
well,
started.
what he did
That was
was,
actually the first case.
what he did was is that he had hired Ecotech. They had put it in, and the channel that was built, that he built, did not comply with the plan that was submitted by Ecotech.
Right.
And so which is why we issued the enforcement order. So we'll see what happens with that. If there's no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So what are we gonna do with the 82 Berlin? Are we going to?
It's off.
Are we gonna lift that enforcement order, or?
I suppose we should, right? So the shed is totally gone.
Shed's gone.
It's gone.
Then is there a motion?
I move that we lift the enforcement order for 82 Berlin Street.
I'll second that.
All right, is there any discussion?
No?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, it's a vote. Okay. And now, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, it's a vote.
Who seconded that?